Question of sport coming up in 40 minutes. After football on BBC One, it's the all-important final scores with Mark Chapman.
Ham United 0.
Trying to avoid relegation.
He was one of the heroes of the afternoon.
Applause from the away supporters. The latest score is Wimbledon through to the Premier.
John Terry's tears, we all know. It's too crucial week.
Good afternoon. It's an FA Cup weekend on Final Score, and you can discover whether there'll be any shocks today in the company of Dion Dublin and Mark Bright. Let's go straight round all the games in the FA Cup. In the early match, it finished Chelsea 1, Birmingham 1. Andre Villas-Boas described it as a quite poor result. Daniel Sturridge salvaging a draw for the home side. We'll get all the details from Stamford Bridge in just a moment. Everton are in control at Goodison. They scored twice in the opening 6 minutes against Championship side Blackpool. Royston Drenthe and Dennis Stracqualersi getting the goals. Premier League leads Championship as well at the Den. Bolton's goals against Millwall coming courtesy of Arsenal loanee Reo Miyachi and David Ngog. And Norwich against Leicester is providing the shock at the moment. David Nugent has put the Championship side ahead. Norwich captain Wes Hoolahan had earlier cancelled out Sean St Ledger's opener. And let's get all those details from Carrow Road. Ivan Gaskell is there for us.
Yes, we saw Delia Smith biting her nails a little while earlier, and well she might. Nerve-wracking stuff for Norwich, who stand on the verge of an FA Cup knockout at the hands of Championship side Leicester. And Leicester, make no mistake, deserve their 2-1 lead with a quarter of an hour left. They went in front early, just 5 minutes gone, when Sean St Ledger nodded in Marshall's corner. Hoolahan levelled midway through the first half, a disputed penalty. Hoolahan took it, but the rebound, after a fine save from Schmeichel, was tucked away in the corner. It looked like Wes Morgan had put Leicester back in front. His shot at back heel from no more than a yard appeared to go well over the line, but was adjudged to have been blocked by Ward. But since the break, Leicester have continued to look impressive, and it was to no one's great surprise when just a few minutes ago David Nugent showed some real quality, combining with Beckford, then bursting into the box and tucking a fine shot underneath Steer. It's 2-1 Leicester. There's just under a quarter of an hour left, and well, as I said all afternoon, watch this space.
As you can see, Yeovil have now gone 3-1 up in their game this afternoon, their 200th home league fixture. The MK Dons, who haven't won in 7 in all competitions, are thrashing Oldham 4-0. Gareth McCleary has just scored a sensational goal for Nottingham Forest against Coventry. We'll get details of that in just a moment. And Shrewsbury have retaken the lead at Underhill through James Collins. 16 minutes from time there. And Inverness, Caledonian Thistle in the SPL equalised against Dunfermline. If Dunfermline were to hold on and win that game, then they will be off the bottom of the SPL to be replaced by Hibs, who don't play until tomorrow. We'll be at St Mary's as well to find out about Southampton's 4th goal. They're going top of the Championship this evening in just a moment. But let's go back to the FA Cup, where it's been a comfortable afternoon so far for Premier League Bolton at Championship Millwall. Jonathan Ledyard.
Yes, it's 2-0 to the Premier League team. Not much quality, I have to say. A lot of mud, a lot of slipping around, and also a lot of rain. It was like the end of the world about 10 minutes ago. You could hardly see the pitch almost. Someone had turned every tap on in London. It suddenly drenched the pitch. But I have to say, Millwall's hopes are shocking. Bolton were pretty much undone within minutes of the kick-off. Reo Miyachi, his first start for Bolton on loan for Arsenal, curling in the first. And then the Millwall defence opened up obligingly for David Ngog after an hour. He was allowed to turn in the centre of the pitch, just outside the Millwall penalty area, and sweep in number 2. That said, Millwall have come back strongly. Double save from Kane and Henderson, but at the moment Bolton comfortable 2-0 up.
In League 2, AFC Wimbledon have lost 8 out of their last 11, but they've equalised against Morecambe. East Stirling, bottom of the whole shebang in Scotland, have taken the lead against Queen's Park. Scott Maxwell with the goal there, and the League 2 leaders are ahead. It's taken them a while to break down Crewe, but Southend lead at Roots Hall through Bilal Moshni. 74 minutes gone there. Back to the FA Cup, Damien Johnson. It's been a very comfortable afternoon for Everton against Blackpool.
Yes, 2-0 here, Premier League quality the difference. Royston Drenthe curled in the opener inside 50 seconds. He's really been in the mood, the Dutchman, today. Dennis Stracqualursi poached a second. He can't stop scoring, the Argentinian striker. Further setback for Blackpool. Gary Taylor-Fletcher stretchered off after a collision with Tim Howard. Blackpool have kept plugging away, though. Kevin Phillips' free kick hit the bar. There's a sellout crowd here. The FA Cup's in rude health on Merseyside.
League One leaders in Scotland, Ross County, have been pegged back by Ayr. Liam Thomsett, 11 minutes from time. In the early game in the FA Cup, Andre Villas-Boas said it was a quite poor result for Chelsea as they drew 1-1 with Birmingham. The details of the game come from John Motson.
Chelsea must face a replay at Championship Birmingham after an indifferent performance, which means the waters around AVB are getting deeper and Chelsea's season is still caught in quicksand. They fell behind to a David Murphy header after 20 minutes. Should have equalised 2 minutes later, but Mata's penalty was saved by Colin Doyle. Chelsea brought on Drogba for Torres at half-time. Sturridge levelled with a header from an Ivanovic cross. But it was Birmingham's defence which took the honours here today, with Curtis Davis outstanding. On this form, Chelsea go to Naples on Tuesday with some trepidation, and John Terry's fitness still in doubt.
And there will be questions asked about Chelsea's performance and Chelsea's defence in particular, Mark Bright.
Yes, I think Ivanovic it was who kind of pulled out of a challenge in the 6-yard box, kind of moved his head away and they went 1-0 behind. But I have to say, Birmingham deserved it at that stage. I think it was something like 15 or 20 minutes before Chelsea really had a shot on target. And as I said before, Villas-Boas makes a lot of changes with his substitutions, but it doesn't affect the game. He still plays the 4-3-3. Torres off at half-time, Drogba on was a big statement.
Yeah.
There was no energy at all with Chelsea for the first sort of 60 minutes. Birmingham looked like the Premier League side who were 5th, 6th in the table, and they looked comfortable and they looked as though they were enjoying the game. Chelsea looked out of sorts. Second half, we've said it before, Brighty said it, Drogba having a bit of a team talk in the tunnel before they came out, stopping the Chelsea players go out, and they came out with a different attitude and played the way we expected them to play from the start of the game. But Birmingham deserved, the draw.
Notts County unbeaten in 4 in League One, but it looks like that run's going to come to an end because Hartlepool are now 3-0 up through Andy Monkhouse. Portsmouth in administration, 10 points deducted, down to 10 men this afternoon. Dave Kitson sent off, and now they trail at Oakwell through Jim O'Brien's goal. Barnsley 1, Portsmouth 0, and East Stirling's lead over Queen's Park didn't last very long. Jamie Longworth equalised for the side, who are 3rd in Scottish Division 3. Let's stay in Scotland. A disastrous week for Rangers, and it's not got any better this afternoon, has it, Ian Turner?
No, it hasn't. We've got 15 minutes left. It's still Rangers 0, Kilmarnock 1, but it's getting quite interesting here at a packed Ibrox because although they're down to 10 men, Sasa Papic having been sent off in the first half, Rangers are finally giving their fans something to sing about. They stopped Kilmarnock playing the flowing football that saw them dominate in the first half and go in at half-time a goal up through Dean Shields. But it's been much more interesting in the second half. The fans who gave them a magnificent welcome onto the field at the start of the game went quiet for the duration of the first half. But they're getting their voices back, and this is still a packed Ibrox. They've got 14 minutes left to try and salvage at least a point from this game. Rangers 0, Kilmarnock 1.
Lost their last 7 at Ibrox have Kilmarnock, so will their fortunes change this afternoon? Into the Championship in England, where Southampton will be top this evening after a comprehensive win over Derby. Tony Husband.
Well, Mark, this really is one-way traffic at St Mary's now in difficult conditions. Southampton, of course, top for so much of the season, and they had that wobble around the new year. West Ham overhauled them. But the home side here showing signs of being back to their best in what's a comprehensive victory now over a Derby side that have struggled to cope with corners all afternoon. Southampton have scored from 2 of them. Jos Højveld in the first half, his replacement Aaron Martin after half-time. 2 more excellent goals then for Southampton. Danny Fox setting up Adam Lallana to volley home. And then the Japanese striker Tadanari Lee is signing here in the January transfer window, coming on as a sub at half-time. A left-footed finish, rasping shot into the corner of the net. Southampton romping home and romping back to the top.
Ipswich romping home as well, at home to Cardiff. Lee Martin's second of the afternoon has put them 3-0 up. Robin Bailey has the details.
Yes, and for the first time since 2004, Ipswich are going to record a 4th successive league win. That hasn't happened since Joe Royle's day. But Paul Jewell will be delighted. It's taken them away from the relegation zone. But they have had their luck in this game. 2 goals from Martin, as you say, and also 1 from Michael Chopra against his old club. And a couple of goals have been excellent. But Cardiff really unlucky in the 9th minute. disappointed not to see the Ipswich goalkeeper, Aaron Lee Barrett, sent off. He took out Joe Mason outside the area. He was the last man. No doubt in my mind he should have gone. He was only given yellow, and after that it's all been uphill for Cardiff, and they must have better luck at Wembley in 8 days' time. It's 3-0 Ipswich.
Nottingham Forest fans haven't seen many goals at the City Ground this season. The one they have seen this afternoon, Seth Bennett, was worth the wait.
Certainly a great individual effort from Gareth McCleary. He picked the ball up just inside the Coventry City half and he started to run directly at the City defence, and as it opened up he continued and continued, got to about 8 yards out and then kept his head, slotting it coolly under Joe Murphy. A really fine effort and a goal that his performance has deserved on the strength of this afternoon. He's currently been replaced though, and Jonathan Greening has come on as Nottingham Forest try and lock this one down by the goal that they lead at this stage. Greening, incidentally, is playing on the left-hand side of a four-man midfield. So this could be an interesting final 7 or 8 minutes for him, playing slightly out of position. But Forest have that key goal. Can they hang on? They're 1-0 up.
Neil Warnock confirmed as the new Leeds manager this lunchtime. He's at Ellen Road. He saw his new side. He's not in charge today. He saw his new side go 2-0 down at home to Doncaster. Now he's seen them pull it back. James Mason.
They have a wonderful goal from Adam Clayton, volleying in from a Robert Snodgrass cross on the left, has made it 2-2 for Leeds United. As you say, Chappers, Neil Warnock in the stands today, but not necessarily in charge. Saw his side go 2-0 down. Mamadou Bagayoko, a first-half substitute, scoring both for Doncaster. One in the first half and one in the second. At 2-0 down, they needed a response, did Leeds United. They got it from Andros Townsend, a left-footed strike from just on the edge of the area. And that second has really illuminated Ellen Road. There were boos at half-time. They're cheering now, and you'd imagine they could and should go on and win this. It's 2-2.
Oldham have lost their last 3 away from home. There's going to be 4, isn't it? They're 5-0 down at MK Dons. Adam Clayton's 6th of the season. That means Neil Warnock's new side are level. He's got a great record of getting sides up out of the Championship deal.
Yeah, and he's had an effect again. You know, they didn't start too well, and now they've come back and got themselves back into the game. It was terrible defending from El Hadji Diouf. It was. He just sort of watched the guy go past him. He went in. El Hadji Diouf went with him as he went in. Then he dropped his shoulder, went to his left, and El Hadji Diouf just left him. He just put it into an area where Clayton was just waiting for a simple volley back of the net.
I've got to say, Doncaster haven't played like a team at the bottom of the league. And, you know, scoring the 2 goals. El Hadji Diouf surprises Bagayoko with both of his goals. But then when you really need him, you know, to defend, he just stood there and just allowed someone to go round. It was really poor. But Leeds, I'd fancy Leeds now.
You've been watching Nottingham Forest against Coventry as well. Two sides really, really struggling at the bottom of the table. And it's a game that was lit up by the McCleary goal.
Yeah, it was.
You have to fear for your former side, Dion.
Yeah, completely. You know, I've only seen them a couple of times this season so far, and the quality of football I've seen has been really, really poor. They've given the ball away in bad positions. They've made bad decisions. They're trying to cross it from 10 yards inside their own half. You know, it's not helping any centre forwards at all. But McCleary's goal was incredible.
Beautiful.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, and I've just say, Joe Murphy made a great save from Andy Reid just before that.
That is Port Vale's 50th goal in League and Cup games against Gillingham. Lewis Dodds has scored at 9 minutes from time at Vale Park. Sheffield United were a goal down against Preston, but their top scorer has done it again, Ched Evans. They now lead by 2-1. And Sheffield Wednesday, earlier on in the day, were beaten at relegation-threatened Chesterfield. And we can find out about Peterborough's third of the afternoon against Bristol City from Andrew James.
It's a second goal of the afternoon for Lee Tomlin, Mark. Peterborough United, of course, going into this one without a win in 7. But it's Bristol City who'll be in trouble now, of course, especially with that Forest scoreline from the City ground. Lee Tomlin got the first in the opening minutes of the game, and then early in the second half, a second from David Ball put Peterborough firmly in control of the game. Sinclair should have made it 3-0, but side-footed wide from 5 yards. But then making amends for that a few moments ago, Sinclair going forward towards goal, drawing David James, and then squaring it to Tomlin, who put the ball into the back of the net for his second. Peterborough lead Bristol City by 3-0.
Andy Barcham's 6th of the season means Scunthorpe had come from behind at Leyton Orient to lead by 2-1, and a second goal of the afternoon has gone in at the City ground. A Coventry back on level terms, Seth Bennett, or a Forest clear?
Forest are clear. They lead by 2-0. Lovely ball in from Andy Reid. Don't know what was going on with the Coventry City defence. Robbie Finlay from the penalty spot was left all alone. Nobody within 5 yards of him. He brought the ball down on his chest before slotting past Joe Murphy. Surely now Forest will hang on here. They lead by 2-0.
and they would be out of the relegation zone were Nottingham Forest, as things stand. At half-time, they were bottom of the table, as things stand. Now they're out of it, and Coventry deep in it, along with Doncaster.
Coventry have got to know their players. If you leave the ball with Andy Reid, he will put the ball into a dangerous area, and if you don't defend the centre of your goal, you're going to get punished. That's exactly what happened. They left Finlay with 5 yards to bring it down and put it between the keeper's legs. But Andy Reid's quality, regardless of what people say about his fitness and the way he looks, his quality is not in doubt.
Ian just can't give people the space to pull the ball down on their chest and slot it in. We've just been between the penalty spot and the 6-yard box. A centre-back's got to be in contention. But, you know, for long periods, there was not much in the game. And then Forest, who struggled to score goals, 2 goals, quick succession, it's all over.
Charlton, of course, want to be in the Championship next season, but the League One leaders have found it tough going at Tranmere this afternoon. Richard Askin.
Yes, they have, Chappers, although they've shown their pedigree this half after going behind to a Ryan Brunt goal in the first 45, an instinctive poke from the on-loan youngster. Lacking ideas in that first half, though, they've really put their foot down, the league leaders in this half, equalising through Michael Morrison. His header coming off the bar, they're on the attack at the moment as well. Bradley Pritchard misses from 2 yards, although he was offside. It would have been a very, very easy tap-in, but Bradley Wright-Phillips it was in the end. Looked as though he was going to give Charlton probably all 3 points, Chappers, but ruled out anyway by the assistant referee. But Charlton have really been on the attack, as that showed, and they are pushing for the win.
To Bramall Lane next, Alan Biggs. Where would Sheffield United be without Ched Evans?
Well, they certainly would be losing this game, although I have to say he's also been a villain before he scored both Sheffield United's goals. A woefully weak penalty let Preston off in what's been a one-sided game. Preston even took the lead through Graham Cummins, a great header, one of their few threats, but Evans equalised just before the break, and now a storming left-foot shot from 15 yards, ripping into the net, has made it Sheffield United 2, Preston 1.
Well, East Fife did their bit in Scottish Division 2, didn't they? But Forfar let the side down somewhat. East Fife 4, Forfar 0. Stadium MK, Mark Bishop, lots of goals to tell us about.
Loads of goals, Chappers. MK Dons 5, Oldham 0. Slick free-flowing football from Carl Robinson's side. It's destroyed Oldham on a heavy cut-up pitch. It's going to give the home side their first league win since January the 2nd. Dean Bowditch got the goals going. First half penalty, then a brace from Powell. A lovely curler followed from Matthias Kuodumbe, 4-0. And then a close-range effort from Stephen Gleeson after a howler from keeper Alex Sisak. It's been a great day if you're an MK Don supporter, 5-0.
Has it been a great day at Walsall? Steve May.
Well, we're looking at their first win since Boxing Day here, Mark. They lead 2-0. Both teams, in fact, brought to life, oddly enough, by a Walsall missed penalty at the start of the second half. Alex Nichols, the culprit, as Nicky Bull in the Wickham goal guessed right. But minutes later, Kevin Hurst, 25 yards out, looked up, let fly with his right foot, and Bull stood there motionless. And just a short while ago, substitute George Bowman beat the offside trap to make it Walsall 2, Wickham 0.
Back to the FA Cup, Norwich against Leicester. Can the home side prevent a giant killing? Ivan Gaskell.
Well, they're hanging on now, Leicester. We're into 4 minutes of added time. There was a groan from the Leicester fans, but, you know, Leicester have, if anything, looked like adding to their lead in the last few moments. Beckford struck an upright at the other end, though, as Norwich try and pile forward. Schmeichel with a fabulous save, going low to his left-hand side. Aaron Wilbraham denied, and the ball spilled from Schmeichel, and Konchesky, our man who predicted that Leicester were far from underdogs in this game, who was there to, well, let his football do the talking, if you like, by diving in with a last-ditch tackle. They've got another 2.5 minutes of this added time to hang on, Leicester. If they do, they'll fully deserve this shock. 24 places below Norwich in the ladder at the moment, and as I speak, Leicester attacking again, but Nugent's going to run it into the corner. They'll need to do a bit more of that in the next 2 minutes.
It's like the Beast has secured the points for Scunthorpe at Leyton Orient. John Park in a minute from time. Leyton Orient 1, Scunthorpe 3. Final whistle gone at the Den. Good win for Bolton in the Cup. Jonathan Ledyard.
You're right. Semi-finalists last year, quarter-finals this time. You couldn't fault Millwall's commitment, but Kenny Jackett, their manager, will surely question their concentration, particularly for Bolton's crucial second goal early in the second half. Defenders just stood off and watched as David Ngog received the ball 20 yards out. They just kept on watching as he drove the shot, having turned past Mildenhall. The keeper then equally powerless to keep out Rio Miyachi's right footer within the opening 3 minutes. Bolton did field a strong team, and if Mwamba or Tunchai or Mark Davis had shown greater accuracy, this would have been no contest. As it was, Millwall responded to typically raucous home encouragement. Steinson almost scored an own goal. Bogdan pulled off 2 great saves within seconds from Kane and Henderson. But Bolton, despite the torrential rain at times, a very muddy pitch, progressed. The confidence is there, and they'll need it because they've got Chelsea and Manchester City next. As for Millwall, it's another home defeat, and then it's Middlesbrough, Burnley and Reading, all chasing playoffs. It's a difficult times down here.
Straight to Goodison, late hope for Blackpool, Damian Johnson.
They've got a penalty. John Heisinger, for the second game in succession, has conceded it. Phillips takes it and skies it over the crossbar and into the Gladys Street end. It was a harsh penalty decision. Heisinger tangled with Roman Bednar, the substitute. The referee decided it was a penalty, but Phillips has missed. 2-0.
No late hope for Blackpool at Goodison. OK, next month you won't find us three sat in chairs doing nothing. We'll be out running, and we hope you will be too.
Mr. O'Leary?
Speaking.
Would you like to do the Sport Relief Mile with me?
I'm sorry, mate. I'm doing it with someone already. This chafes a bit, this.
I've got the panto horse and everything.
Horses? Why didn't we think of horses?
I just wanted to be seen differently.
Sorry, mate. If only
You'd called me yesterday.
Come on, Button.
Sorry, gotta go.
You will. Brilliant.
Hey!
David, I said horse.
Who are you going to do the mile with? Enter now at bbc.co.uk/sportrelief.
I wonder what happened to that bloke dressed as a carrot. A couple of other programmes to alert you to. Tonight at 7 on BBC Two, there's World Cup cycling from the Olympic Velodrome in London. Victoria Pendleton won gold and broke a world record last night. She's in action this evening along with Sir Chris Hoy. At the same time, on the red button and online, there's live coverage of the Welsh Open snooker semi-final between the Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan and Mark Selby. And then tomorrow afternoon, the last ski Sunday of the series features the women's downhill from Sochi and a special report on how the Russian city is preparing for the 2014 Winter Olympics. Back to the FA Cup. Final whistle has gone at Carrow Road. A shock, Ivan Gaskell.
Fantastic for Leicester fans, and boy are they celebrating. Leicester are through 2-1 and fully deserved too. From very early on they looked in good shape for a shock here. St Ledger gave them the lead after 5 minutes, and though Houlihan equalised from the penalty spot that he had to snap up from the rebound after Schmeichel saved, Leicester never let it fluster them. Nugent won it with a fabulous solo goal midway through the second half. Leicester last won here on their way to the 1963 Cup final. This win takes them a big step closer to it again. Leicester into the quarter-finals, knocking out Norwich for the 5th consecutive time. They're through 2-1.
Paul Lambert's got to be disappointed about that, Dion. I mean, I know the league's the priority and stuff, but as we talked about pre-kick-off, they're on 35 points. They're all but safe in the Premier League. They could have had a real good go.
Yeah, maybe that was one of the hint that's hindered them. Maybe they were too comfortable going into this game, thinking they might win the game without trying too hard. Leicester have got a lot of quality in their squad, a hell of a lot of quality, and they were not to be written off. And I'm hoping that Norwich didn't go out today thinking, this will be okay for us. They're in that league, we're in this league, and we're doing so well. You can't go into FA Cup games like that.
Paul Konchesky knows.
Yeah, he said they weren't the underdogs.
You know what?
We
Nigel Pearson going back there, and they've invested a lot of money to try and get out of the league. Doesn't look like it's going to happen this season for them, but you know what? A good run in the Cup will go a long way to sort of like easing that sort of problem, and the money obviously isn't important for next year.
We're going to go to Oakwell now. Portsmouth down to 10 men in administration. 10 points deducted, a goal down. But there's been a late goal. Are they back on level terms? Naz Premji.
They're not, Chappers. They are 2-0 losers of this game, because you've joined me at the opportune moment. The final whistle has just been blown. Matty Doan scoring a last-minute second for Barnsley, who wrapped up the victory. Dave Kitson saw red after 2 yellows early on in the first half. That made Portsmouth's task a lot harder. Michael Appleton only had 3 substitutes to call upon. Benjani came on to try and add a bit of spice late on,
but it was to no avail. Jim O'Brien's first goal, a peach of a goal. Watch that on the Football League show tonight. And Matty Doan finished off with a lovely rod and shot past Stephen Henderson. The problems continue for Pompey. They'll be in the drop zone tonight. Barnsley with a good win here. Barnsley 2, Portsmouth 0.
There's going to be plenty of added time at Ellen Road this afternoon because in the game between Leeds and Doncaster there has been a sickening clash of heads. James Mason.
Yes, indeed, Chappers. There was going to be 5 minutes of time added on before this lengthy stoppage, as you say, and it's between Leeds' Robbie Rogers and Doncaster's Tommy Spur. The game's been stopped for the best part of 5 minutes. The St John's ambulance men, as well as officials from both sides, attending to the two players. Tommy Spur has been stretchered off and conscious, which is the good news. At the moment, with Robbie Rogers, you just can't tell because there's 7, maybe 8 members of staff and St John's ambulance people attending to the players. So I think this could be 10 minutes after the suggested time we're going to finish. In fact, Robbie Rogers is now being stretchered off and he looks like he is conscious, and both players receiving a round of applause. So we think 9 or 10 minutes will be played, Chappers. The game at the moment is locked at 2-2, and it's going to be a free kick to Leeds United on the back of this, who have looked good for the last 10 minutes of the game since they scored that goal from Adam Clayton. So we'll keep you up to date. It's Leeds 2, Doncaster 2.
Yeah, thank you very much, James. Final whistles going in other games around the country, particularly in the Championship. Let's go to Seth Bennett, who's seen Nottingham Forest get a vital win over Coventry this afternoon.
Huge victory for Forest, who've beaten Coventry City by 2-0 after a drab first 45 minutes. Changes were made at the break and Forest took up the impetus. A couple of moments of quality see them home in this one. The first coming from Gareth McCleary, who ran from just inside the Coventry City half into the area before keeping his head and slotting the ball low past Joe Murphy. The second, a moment of quality from Andy Reid, out on the right-hand side, clipped the ball in left-footed, and as it came into Robbie Finlay, there wasn't a Coventry City defender near him. He chested it down and slotted it home for what will be a crucial win for Nottingham Forest. They've beaten Coventry City by 2-0.
Southampton are top of the Championship this evening, albeit they've played a couple of games more than West Ham. Tony Husband has seen them thump Derby.
Yes, and displays like this one are why Southampton have the best home record in the Championship. They were 1-up at half-time. They survived a Derby flurry before the break. And at that stage, the visitors only trailing to Jos Højvold's goal after a quarter of an hour. His replacement, Aaron Martin, scored a similar goal early in the second period. Then the home side off and flying. Adam Lallana guiding a volley into net for a third before Japanese international Tadanari Lee thumped in a fourth, his first goal since arriving in January. Derby toothless and now 6 without a win. Southampton back to the top.
And it's not been the afternoon that Cardiff would have wanted ahead of next weekend's Carling Cup final. Malky Mackay's men beaten at Ipswich. Robin Bailey.
Yes, beaten 3-0. A vibrant performance by Ipswich, beating the Carling Cup finalists and promotion challengers. 2 goals by Lee Martin, who might have had 4 today. He was excellent. And a 5th in 4 games for a rejuvenated Michael Chopra against his old club. He couldn't resist celebrating either. But only after a 9th-minute incident which shaped the game. Ipswich keeper Aaron Lee Barrett should have been sent off for a challenge outside the area on Joe Mason. He got just a yellow card. Ipswich went on for the first time in 8 years to get 4 successive league wins. They're all but safe now. Cardiff needs some better luck in 8 days' time at Wembley.
Gary Jones has so often come to Rochdale's rescue, and the captain has scored late on at Spotland. John Coleman's side lead Bournemouth by a 1-0. They could be off the bottom of League One this evening. Rangers have had a terrible week in the SPL, and it hasn't ended on a high. Ian Turner.
It has not. A terrible week for the Scottish champions, as you say. Off the field ended with no better outcome on it. 50,268 seeing Dean Shields score the only goal of the game in a first half in which Kilmarnock played some lovely football. Despite losing Sasa Papic to a red card for a 2-footed tackle, Rangers were much better after the break but couldn't find even a crumb of comfort. And given their tax situation, they won't like the look of the league table. If you read up from 4th, the initial letters of the teams now read HMRC. Rangers 0, Kilmarnock 1.
Well spotted, Ian. Brian McLaughlin has watched the M and the H in that little lot this afternoon. Who won it, Brian? The M or the H?
It was by far and away the M team, Mark. They won by 3-0. Andy Webster with an own goal, followed by Jamie Murphy goal. That made it 2-0 at half-time. Nicky Law finishing off a terrific move from Henrik Ujama, made it 3-0. Motherwell also reduced to 10 men after Keith Lasley saw 2 yellow cards in a short space of time, but Motherwell well on top and dreaming possibly of a Champions League place next season. It's Motherwell 3, Hearts 0.
10 minutes of injury time at Ellen Road, and one of the sides has taken advantage. Which one, James Mason?
It's Luciano Becchio who scored for Leeds United, a wonderful left-foot strike, and he ran straight up to Neil Redfern. It's Leeds United 3, Doncaster Rovers 2.
7 for the season for Luciano Becchio. We'll keep you up to date with what's going on at Ellen Road, but now on Final Score, the full classified results are with Mike West.
Starting with the 5th round of the FA Cup with Budweiser. Chelsea 1, Birmingham City 1. Everton 2, Blackpool 0. Millwall 0, Bolton Wanderers 2. Norwich City 1, Leicester City 2. The game between Sunderland and Arsenal is an evening kick-off at 5:15. In the Empire Championship, Barnsley 2, Portsmouth 0. Crystal Palace 4, Watford 0. Ipswich Town 3, Cardiff City 0. Leeds United 3, Doncaster Rovers 2 is a later score. Nottingham Forest 2, Coventry City 0. Peterborough United 3, Bristol City 0. And Southampton 4, Derby County 0. In the Empire League 1, Chesterfield 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Exeter City 3, Bury 2. Hartlepool United 3, Notts County 0. Leyton Orient 1, Scunthorpe United 3. Milton Keynes Dons 5, Oldham Athletic 0. Rochdale 1, AFC Bournemouth 0. Sheffield United 2, Preston North End 1. Tranmere Rovers 1, Charlton Athletic 1. Walsall 2, Wycombe Wanderers 0. And Yeovil Town 3, Colchester United 2. On to the Empire League 2. Accrington Stanley 0, Plymouth Argyle 4. AFC Wimbledon 1, Morecambe 1. Barnet 1, Shrewsbury Town 2. Bristol Rovers 0, Oxford United 0. Burton Albion 1, Rotherham United 1. Dagenham and Redbridge 0, Cheltenham Town 5. Hereford United 1, Swindon Town 2. Macclesfield Town 0, Aldershot Town 1. Port Vale 2, Gillingham 1. Southend United 1, Crewe Alexandra 0. And Torquay United 1, Bradford City 2. The Blue Square Bet Premier, AFC Telford United 1, Braintree Town 0. Alfreton Town 3, Darlington 1. Barrow 3, Kettering Town 0. Bath City 2, Ebbsfleet United 3. Fleetwood Town 1, Cambridge United 0. Forest Green Rovers 2, Gateshead 1. Kidderminster 1, Lincoln City 1. Luton Town 3, Tamworth 0. Newport County 1, Mansfield Town 0. Wrexham 4, Hayes and Yeading United 1. And York City 2, Stockport County 1. On to the Clydesdale Bank Scottish Premier League. Dundee United 0, St Mirren 0. Dunfermline 1, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 1. Motherwell 3, Hearts 0. Rangers 0, Kilmarnock 1. The Iron Brew Scottish Division 1, Hamilton Academical 0, Falkirk 1. Livingston 4, Wraith Rovers 0. Partick Thistle 0, Greenock Morton 0. Queen of the South 1, Dundee 1. And Ross County 1, Ayr United 1. Scottish Division 2, Airdrie United 0, Stenhousemuir 3. Arbroath 1, Cowden Beath 1. Dumbarton 1, Albion Rovers 0. East Fife 4, Forfar Athletic 0. Stirling Albion 2, Brecon City 3. And the Scottish Division 3, Berwick Rangers 1, Annan Athletic 3. East Stirlingshire 1, Queen's Park 2. Elgin City 3, Alloa Athletic 0. Montrose 1, Peterhead 3. And Stranraer 1, Clyde 0. The Corbett Sports Welsh Premier, Carmarthen Town 1, Airbus UK Broughton 0. Llanelli 0, The New Saints 2. Neath 1, Frestat in Town 0. And Newtown 1, Avon Lido 1. Finally, the Carling Premiership, Coleraine 0, Donegal Celtic 1. Crusaders 1, Glenavon 0. Glentoran 1, Cliftonville 0. Lisbon Distillery 0, Dungannon Swifts 2. And Portadown 1, Linfield 1.
One late kick-off confirmation that Luciano Becchio's goal meant that Leeds beat Doncaster 3-2 at Ellen Road. Let's have a look at the tables. And Southampton replaced West Ham at the top of the Championship following their 4-0 win against Derby. Sam Allardyce's side, they do have 2 games in hand. Reading went third last night. Cardiff remained fourth following their defeat at Ipswich. Bottom side Doncaster led 2-0 at Ellen Road but eventually lost 3-2, so that keeps them at the bottom of the table. Portsmouth docked 10 points yesterday, lost to Barnsley, so they're now in the relegation zone. They replaced Nottingham Forest, who were 3 points clear of trouble. Charlton were held to a draw today but stay top of League One. Sheffield United are now 5 points clear of Sheffield Wednesday. MK Dons, the only other top 7 side in action, and they enjoyed a 5-0 victory, so have narrowed the gap on Huddersfield. Wycombe were the only team in the bottom 8 to lose, and they subsequently slipped to the foot of the table below Walsall, Rochdale and Chesterfield, who all won today. Scunthorpe, Exeter and Yeovil did as well. Southend beat Crewe 1-0 to stay top of League 2. Cheltenham are behind them on goals scored following their 5-0 win away to Dagenham. Swindon are third after making it 7 wins out of 7 by a win at Hereford. And the heavy defeat for Dagenham means they now drop to the bottom of the table. Northampton, who are second bottom, weren't in action, but they're 3 points from safety following Plymouth's 4-0 win at Accrington. Blue Square Bet Premier leaders Fleetwood beat Cambridge to preserve their 2-point lead at the top. Second place Wrexham kept pace by thrashing Hayes in Yeading. And the bottom 3 all lost today. Only goal difference keeps Darlington above the relegation zone. And a terrible week has ended badly for Rangers. Home defeat by Kilmarnock, coupled with their 10-point deduction for entering administration, leaves them 14 points adrift of Celtic. At the other end of the table, Dunfermline are now winless in 14 matches and remain below Hibs, who play tomorrow. Don't forget, all the goals from the Football League on the Football League show with Manish at 5 to midnight. Don't forget, you can also see them on the BBC Sport website from Monday morning. Neil Warnock's reign, he may have not been in charge, but he'll now say it started.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, 2-0 down, come back to win. Obviously, the head injury delayed the game. You thought they'd lost the momentum, them Leeds, but they've picked it up. Great finish from Becchio.
Yes, that's what, you know, a new face, a new reign, that's what happens. You know, the players know that the manager's there, the new manager's there, so they raise their game.
Yeah. FA Cup 5th round weekend. Sunderland against Arsenal is live on BBC Radio 5 Live now, and then straight after it, it'll be 6:06 from around 7:10 on 5 Live. It's also on the BBC Sport website with myself and the man who can't stop bobbling them in for Reading, Jason Roberts. Dion, Mark, thank you very much for your company. Final Score will be back next Saturday on another busy afternoon of football. Bye-bye.